Man, I swear I've been mining forever. Oh, okay. Up, 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 up. Finally, man, I'm so... Whoa, what is that? Holy cow. No, not you. That. Man, let's go check that out. Huh, would you look at that? A perfectly well-structured base. Not bad at all. Cough, cough. Oh, and a bed to sleep in. Nice. Hello, YouTube. And this is episode 3 of my Minecraft series, Let's Talk. And as you can see, we are now outside of the cave. I would have started the episode directly where we left off, but just to make things a little bit easier for me and also just so it could be less dark and more entertaining for you guys, I decided to mine from outside up here. As you can see, I threw some of the trash over there. And this is a little just camp I got set up. But as mentioned at the end of episode 2, today we're going to take a break from the mining and getting armor, and we're going to build ourselves a little starter base. So let's get to it. So first things first, I want to do something simple, not something too crazy. And again, like I said, it's going to be a little starter base. Now, I have this idea. I'm going to go ahead and put an image of it up on the screen, hopefully whenever I'm editing. But it's supposed to be like, kind of like you're living on like the side of like a mountain kind of thing. But obviously there's ocean and no mountain. But just looking across, I saw this. Now, obviously, yes, it looks not the best right now, but soon, soon, because what I see here is potential. So, without further ado, let's get to digging. And while we're digging, we can start talking about today's topic. And before we get into that, as always, talk about last episode's poem. So last episode, episode 2, I left you guys off with my poem, Present, in which it speaks about past actions of those who knew better and all those little fancy things that make me sound like I know how to write, which I hope I do. And the whole point of that was, again, now it sounds very, very, like, I mean, for lack of better words, it sounds, all sad or whatever, kind of like my first poem. And if you guess, it was around the same time. And yes, it was very intentional that it was the same kind of tone and mood, because it was written still in that little time in my life where things were, you know, around, rough around the edges. But as you might remember, at least I hope you do, if you guys pay attention to the things I say and keep them in mind. In episode 2, I mentioned how I was in a talking stage and the situation wasn't good and it ended in a certain way. And after it ended, it reminded me of a situation that I had experienced in the past. One which I was not very fond of. But it made me realize that, it was kind of similar. I don't know, this doesn't look symmetrical to me. This is bothering me for some reason. And I don't know why this just looks off. But I think what we can do is let's just go get some wood first. Because we need building blocks. So I think what we're gonna do is set up a little storage area where we can put some stuff. I did not mean to make that, I just wasted so much iron. Yeah. But yeah, let's just go ahead and throw all our stuff in here first. Go get some wood. And then come back. Anyways. It reminded me of a situation and really, just put me down because it took a lot out of me to get past that and to kind of experience something that, I guess put me in that mindset again, kind of tarnished some of the emotions I had at that point, all that work to get me emotionally to where I was, just to kind of have it be disregarded because I was like, man, it feels like last time. And that's because I held this person to a very, very high regard, in my opinion, and for them to do something that I never expected really caught me off guard. But I then remembered that, sometimes it's just how things are. But what kind of kept me in good spirit is I realized that while that might be, all in the past and everything, I'm now in the present. So I got to see the past actions unfold, and while yes, some shadows of the past still remain, at the end of the day, shadows are always going to be cast out by the light. So if you can, deal with the shadows just for a little bit, eventually the light's going to come back and they no longer become an issue. Which I can 100% agree with. Because after, dealing with all that and getting through everything, being in the light is so much better than focusing on shadows. Because once you stop focusing on the shadows, the light becomes the only thing you get to notice. And it's really comfortable there. Now, with that out of the way, brings me to today's topic, which I'm actually really excited to talk about because it's something that truly intrigues me. And that would be inspiration, drive, and passion. Those are our three buzzwords for today. Inspiration, drive, and passion. What inspires you? What gets you going? What is your goal? What are your aspirations? Things like that. So I'll start off with the basic one, oh, what inspires you? Well, my inspiration is to be better than the past version of myself. My inspiration is I strive to be better than what I used to be. So I strive to be better. I strive for improvement because if there's one thing I've learned over the amount of years I've been on this planet is no matter how good you think you are, there's always better and you can always be better. And those are the words I keep with me almost every day, and I try my hardest to, keep them with me because I feel like just going into the day, starting the day off with what can I do that can be better than yesterday. Just feel like starting off with that, just it gives you this idea put up in your head that you have to now strive for something. You did yesterday. What did I do yesterday? Okay, what can I do today that can be different, can be an improvement, can add on to who you are? And this doesn't only apply for, for yourself. This could apply, to anything. Oh man, I want to go set up something in my Minecraft world, and oh, that is super cool. I need to keep that in mind that that's there. I'm gonna look at the footage back and just remember that that's there because those actually have like really good blocks and everything. Anyways, yeah, like even just in, like I said, like in Minecraft, you can just be like, man, what can I do differently that I can improve upon? And just going into that just gives you already, like a +1 because now no matter what you do, it's going to be something improved upon from yesterday. Like for example, what am I trying to do with my YouTube channel? I started off the episode differently. I had a different mic, and then as each episode is progressing, I'm trying to do different things to make it a bit better and make it a bit more unique and different. So yeah, let's go ahead and sleep here real quick. And I think what I'm gonna do is make a furnace so I can start getting us some food. Let's get a furnace. Oh, I can make a smoker. Okay, let's do that. Smoker and a furnace. No, I don't have any coal. Man. Okay, note to self. Get coal. Okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and look at my reference real quick. Okay, you know what? That actually looks kind of nice. I actually really like that. I don't mind that. Okay. So then what we can do now is we can place our bed. First of all, I need to change that immediately to a red bed. I am all about, red beds. I do not like having a bed that is not red because the game started with a red bed and I will forever live with a red bed in every house I have. So now that we got ourselves a little floor design, we should start to add a little bit of character to the house. So something I see a lot in a lot of bases is they have like pillars of the logs that they use for the build. And I think what would be kind of cool is to kind of add that, but like here, like kind of have it like, oh man, but like kind of have it like kind of creep out. Or even I could do like, I could make like a little campfire here and boom, I'll get rid of this tree obviously, but put like a little campfire here, put some trap doors, and then boom, I have a little chimney. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add like a little flower pot here, and I'll do a lantern there. But yeah, and so I did end up stripping the oak logs or the dark oak because for some reason every Minecraft build nowadays has stripped oak logs ever since, you know, they got released. So now I gotta do stripped logs. But it looks like man, I really need to go get coal. Because I don't have anything to smelt stuff with. Let's use some wood, make some iron, and while that is smelting, let's go ahead and think about how we're gonna structure things. So walls. I don't want to use the same design I used here on the walls because I already have, you know, like a light and a dark kind of contrasting with each other. And if I feel like if I put that on the walls, it's just gonna be really just difficult to look at, I guess. So what do we do? What do we do? Okay. And I think I got it. So first of all, let's go ahead and start excavating this. We're gonna make this a little stone pillar. Okay. So definitely just going to apologize just a little bit for a lot of the, you know, cuts here and there, but at least for me, building a house in Minecraft is one of the most difficult things to do. Again, like I said, at least for me, because I feel like it's one of those things that like you really have to just like focus on, which is slightly what I'm trying to do, but then it also just gets a tad difficult when you're also trying to speak on a wide variety of topics, such as what I'm trying to do. So hopefully, you know, without, you know, just putting everything onto this base build, at least I think what I was last on, I keep getting stuck on the whole goals section of, you know, this video and everything, but I definitely do think that, you know, goals and aspirations are really good things and all that. It's good to have something else. You know, it's good to have something that can ease the mind a little bit. Because while this whole episode is one about me building this base that's, you know, consuming everything, it's also about, you know, having goals. And having goals and having aspirations, they can be a really good thing. They can be great. But I feel like something that a lot of people don't realize is sometimes some of that greatness kind of takes over a little bit, which I can definitely speak on firsthand because if you make, that goal your everything, it gets a little difficult to come back from that because then, however that goal fits into your life, it becomes more of an issue than something to achieve. And for some people, that leads to burnout. And very disappointingly, for other people, that leads to just dropping the goal entirely. And while, maybe you might have to do that, that doesn't necessarily mean it should always be, you know, your best choice to pick if you do notice that it is, you know, kind of taking up a little bit too much space in your life. And in my case, the way that, you know, it took things up for me is I am a power lifter. Pretty much just a sport where you lift heavy for fun. And I had these really good goals set in mind, but at some point I made them everything. I spent every like waking second on trying to achieve those goals that I had set for myself. And while, yes, that's great, I have these goals, awesome. It didn't give me the sort of happiness that I had when I first started. I got into it and I was just always looking forward to being able to do what I enjoyed, which was lifting. But soon I noticed that I really wasn't enjoying it as much as I used to. I had those great goals, I had all these plans and all these ideas, but I just felt, disappointed when, after setting all these standards for myself, I didn't achieve, all these great things in the span of a couple weeks. So, what I hope you can take from that is goals are great, but they come with takebacks and they shouldn't be everything that matters. Because while you can have a really good goal in mind, you also have the rest of your life to achieve whatever you have in mind. And if I'm being honest, that's kind of why I started this. This whole channel was to see if I can stick with something other than lifting a barbell for longer than, I don't know, however long I would trap myself in the gym. But it definitely has taught me some things after, taking a break. For one, uh, I'm learning that I'm horrible at building in Minecraft. And two, that it's okay to take breaks from, the things that you set your mind to. Because, yes, like I said, the takeaway that I want from this is to have goals and improve upon everything. But I also want you guys to know that it doesn't have to be everything surrounded by that goal. And also that it doesn't have to be those exact ones every single time. Because, I mean, as you guys can see clearly, I just went and started a Minecraft YouTube channel where I lose my train of thought every other sentence and, get distracted from using more than 5 brain cells to build a Minecraft house. But it's fun, it's nice, it's refreshing, to remove yourself from all those little boxes you put yourself in and these ideas that consume you for such a long amount of time. So, get some fresh air. Get a second, third rewatch of that show instead of whatever you have on your mind because, you know, you're not going to become the next greatest painter or baker or whatever you want to be if that's all you do. And for me, that's me trying to get some experience back in to playing Minecraft because I mean it has definitely been a minute. Clearly, as you can see by my builds. But again, I really did appreciate changing up things because while I really do love powerlifting and I would never see myself quitting or dropping or burning out from it, I was getting really close there for a second, like for sure. Because I mean, burnout is definitely a real thing, it affects a lot of people and sooner or later people get tired of doing the same thing over and over again. And what I can do here. Oh man. Okay. This is gonna take a bit, I'm just gonna make some more chests. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do here is just continue that kind of layer. And then I'll just keep that grass just so it stays. And I think I do like that wall design. I do wish I had some kind of, torches, but looks like I don't. But let's just go ahead and do that. Let's look around. And I think this is a nice little area. Gonna go ahead and sleep. And hopefully, whenever you guys see me, this looks a little bit better. I might add some lighting, do a little bit more decorating. But again, very all over the place. Man, I don't know how I got there. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Get our little thumbnail here. And we have our poem for today's episode, which is titled Wasted Potential. Without further ado, let's get right into it. With time now given, the chase is lost. It stretches farther than usual, not allowing for haste. It feels like forever until forever ends. Started with ideas, plenty to go around, things here, things there, good things, great things, but that's all it'll ever be. It feels like forever until forever ends. That was today's poem, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Again, there's going to be a lot more cuts of stuff here and there, but I hope you guys do enjoy. And remember, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. I'll see you guys in the next one.